Current business trends in China. With a population of 1.3 billion people and a GDP of just over $10 trillion, it has become clear to the rest of the global business community that China is an emerging powerhouse. A critical component that is fueling this economic success lies with the current business trends of Chinese companies. After our studies and travels throughout Beijing and Tianjin, a few common trends became evident. Related to the well-known Made in China marker found on many American sold consumer goods, China is one of the top go-to countries for companies around the world wanting to outsource part of their supply chain. Mobile phones and other electronics encompass a majority of China's manufacturing, and we had the opportunity to see this firsthand through our company visits. Touring the Finland-based Nokia factory, we observed the cell phone production and packaging. From there, the completed cell phones are sent to distribution centers and shipped across the world. Although we didn't visit an Apple factory, the company is known to design its products in California, but has all parts of the manufacturing process completed in China. Because of the cheap labor and land, companies from foreign nations have helped China develop an economic foundation, firmly cementing the country's most beneficial business trend of being outsourced to. As a direct result of China's outsourcing growth, it has developed numerous methods for distribution both domestically and internationally. China is in the midst of a massive transportation infrastructure improvement to accommodate for the increased need to transport goods and people in and out of the country. Highways, railroads, and particularly ports are being constructed and upgraded to make access to China's waterways more efficient. China boasts 16 major shipping ports along its coastline, and over 35% of all the world's shipping originates from China. Chinese distribution companies have already begun to take advantage of this opportunity. Traveling to Tianjin to visit the Ryder Distribution Company served as a first-hand experience for us to witness the constant transfer of bundled goods. Additionally, our visit to Crown Logistics provided a unique view of the warehouses these goods are stored at before distribution. One unique aspect we learned about Chinese business trends was how much and how frequently even these companies outsource multiple parts of their supply chain. Crown, for example, did nothing on their own except organize the movement of goods and store them in the warehouse. However, their services include everything from picking up goods to delivery. The remaining steps of the process are simply outsourced. China is facing an increasing trend of urbanization as its rural population migrates into the big cities along the country's eastern coast. The United Nations predicted that by 2015, the population of China's cities will be equal to the population of all the people living in its rural areas. As the populations of these cities continue to grow, businesses have begun to adapt to the changing environment. The increased amount of migrant workers in the cities has driven labor costs down and has forced housing and other living expenses higher. Businesses have adjusted their goals to target this booming population as real estate and insurance firms flourish from the growth. However, businesses are under constant risk of government-issued regulatory changes. As more people move into these cities, poverty grows along with the gap between the wealthy and the poor. This can lead to the government taking action by forcing businesses to lower prices or take tax increases. Another observed trend we noticed was the segregation among the workers in these companies. While there seemed to be good diversity in many of these businesses, there was clearly a defined separation between levels of workers and even between Westerners and Easterners. At the Nokia building, for example, the assembly line workers all ate lunch or took breaks in the cafeteria on the bottom floor. The white-collar workers and managers clearly preferred to eat at the upstairs buffet, but even at the buffet there was a clear division between the migrants from the West and the Asian natives. Despite this appearance of segregation, the employees and managers of these businesses worked seamlessly together and clearly acted in accordance to the respective company's culture. It can therefore be assumed that this division is a result of something as simple as people's preference to keep similar company. The companies that had manufacturing plants seemed to constantly remind the assembly line workers of the importance of the collective unit and of quality at each and every step. At Motorola's assembly line plant, we noticed signs along the ceiling stating the importance of quality and how each individual worker has the responsibility to uphold that quality in their work. We decided these animated signs may actually be effective as it places importance and responsibility in the hands of all the employees. We've learned in our business courses that in order to motivate an employee, responsibility and respect go much further than an increased salary or hours worked. Perhaps the managers at Motorola believe in the same thing. In addition to the focus on the importance of the individual's quality work, we witnessed a reminder of interdependence and importance of the unit of workers at the Nokia factory. Observing the assembly line from the deck above, it was clear how the success of the team was dependent on each worker. The question of lack of motivation and monotony was brought up among our group, but clearly management at these companies have developed strategies that remind each employee of his or her importance to production quality and team efficiency. Through our travels in China, we were given an incredibly unique opportunity to experience both cultural and economic aspects of Chinese life. As a result of our company's tours and a little research, we've presented you with only a few of the many emerging business trends going on in China today. However, as the Chinese economy and population continues to grow, and as our world becomes more interconnected than ever, these trends are more than likely